The Grand Galactic Council chamber, a vast dome of shimmering crystal and polished metal, grew quiet. 500 alien leaders from across the stars sat in rising tiers, their eyes fixed on the center stage. The silence felt heavy, like the moment before a storm. Ambassador Kazutik of the Arachnid Confederation stepped forward. His 8 legs clicked nervously on the glossy floor as he adjusted his formal collar. Behind him, a massive screen lit up with images of a blue-green planet. "Honored council members," Kazutik said, his voice crackling through the translation devices. "What you see is Earth. Our scout ships found it just 3 months ago in the spiral arm of the galaxy." The images shifted to show forests, oceans, mountains, and cities filled with tall buildings. Many council members leaned forward with interest. Some whispered to their neighbors. "At first glance, it seemed like many other worlds," Kazutik continued. "But our research team made a shocking discovery." He paused for effect, his 4 main eyes blinking rapidly. "The dominant species of this planet are dangerous predators." A murmur ran through the chamber. Several representatives from prey species visibly shrank in their seats. Councillor Vreen, who looked like a 6-foot blob of blue jelly, raised a dripping tentacle. "Explain the nature of this danger, Ambassador." Kazutik tapped a control, and the screen showed humans running through grasslands, swimming in oceans, and climbing mountains. "These humans can chase prey for hours without stopping," he explained. "Their bodies can cool themselves by leaking water from their skin. They can throw objects with deadly accuracy. Their teeth can tear flesh. And worst of all, they can outthink most hunting animals on their planet." "Are they carnivores?" asked a small, furry representative from the back rows. "Even worse," Kazutik replied. "They are omnivores who can eat almost anything. This makes them highly adaptable and nearly impossible to starve out." The chamber doors slid open with a soft hiss. The council members turned as one, many gasping as a human female walked into the room. She was shorter than most aliens present, with brown skin and curly black hair pulled back from her face. She wore a simple blue uniform with a silver pin that showed Earth's continents. "This is Linda Howard," announced Head Counselor Zoll, his deep voice echoing. "She is the first human allowed to observe our proceedings." Linda nodded politely and took her seat in a special chair near the wall. She seemed calm, unaware that many council members were fighting the urge to flee. "As I was saying," Kazutik continued, "humans have many physical advantages. Their endurance is remarkable. Their internal skeletons give them great strength for their size, and they heal wounds by growing new flesh rather than molting or regenerating." The screen changed to show human athletes competing in various sports. "The female sitting among us right now," Kazutik added with a nervous glance at Linda, "could likely outrun most of us in this room and continue for hours without stopping." Councillor Thrix, a thin being with large eyes and a coat of fine feathers, shivered visibly. "You mean they chase their food until it gets too tired to run anymore? How barbaric." Linda Howard stood up. "May I address this concern, Head Counselor?" The chamber fell completely silent. Many council members shifted in their seats, uncomfortable, with the idea of the predator speaking directly to them. "You may speak, Human Howard," Zoll said after a moment's hesitation. Linda walked to the center of the floor, her footsteps echoing. Up close, the aliens could see she had 5 fingers on each hand, flat teeth except for 4 sharp ones, and eyes that faced forward like most predator species. "It's true that my ancestors were pursuit hunters," she said, her voice warm and steady. "But we haven't hunted that way for thousands of years. We've built farms, cities, and spaceships. We write poetry and music. We care for the sick and help the weak. But you still could hunt if needed," pointed out Counselor Zumara, a tall insect-like being with compound eyes. "The instinct remains in your DNA." Linda nodded. "Yes, but those same instincts that once helped us hunt now drive us to explore and protect. Our endurance helps us work long hours to save lives after disasters. Our throwing ability helps us build complex machines. Our problem-solving skills help us find new ways to cure diseases." She gestured to a human male who had entered quietly behind her. He was taller, With lighter skin and short gray hair, he carried a small device in his hands. "This is Dr. Sam Reeves, our lead diplomat," Linda said. "With your permission, he would like to show you something about humans that might surprise you." The head counselor hesitated, then nodded. "Very well, but we are watching carefully, humans." Sam stepped forward with a friendly smile that inadvertently showed his teeth, causing several council members to flinch. He placed his device on the floor, and it projected a hologram that filled the center of the chamber. The images showed humans rushing into burning buildings to save strangers, diving into rough waters to rescue drowning animals, working through the night to free trapped miners, and treating injured creatures of all kinds. "What you're seeing," Sam explained, "is what happens when predator instincts evolve alongside high intelligence and social bonding. We don't just use our strength and endurance to hunt anymore. We use them to help and heal." An alien with skin like tree bark leaned forward. "Why would predators risk themselves for others? It defies evolutionary logic." "That's the fascinating part," Sam replied. "Somewhere in our development, we discovered that protecting others gave us greater survival advantages than competing with them. Our strongest drive isn't to hunt, it's to nurture and defend." The council chamber buzzed with conversation as the members processed this new information. Some seemed skeptical, others curious, and a few appeared deeply troubled. Head Counselor Zoll raised his forearms for silence. "This presentation raises more questions than it answers. If humans truly have evolved beyond their predatory nature, why do they still maintain military forces? Why do they still consume animal flesh? And most importantly, can we trust them not to turn their protective instincts into excuses for galactic dominance?" Linda and Sam exchanged a glance. They knew these questions would come up, but answering them would require more than words. It would require proof. "We propose a demonstration," Linda said firmly. "Let us show you what humans do when faced with a crisis. Actions speak louder than any speech we could give." The council fell silent again, but this time the silence felt different, filled with curiosity rather than fear. The apex predators from Earth had just challenged everything the galactic species thought they knew about the nature of hunters and the hunted, and the real surprise was only beginning. Sam Reeves stood tall in the center of the council chamber. The silver buttons on his dark blue uniform caught the light as he moved. Behind him, the big screen showed new pictures of humans doing something the aliens found strange: helping others. "You see us as dangerous hunters," Sam said, his deep voice calm and clear. "But the same things that made us good hunters also made us good helpers." He touched a small control in his hand. The screen changed to show human doctors working in a hospital, rescue workers pulling people from a collapsed building, and firefighters carrying children from a burning house. "Our ability to run long distances helps us reach people in danger," Sam explained. "Our problem-solving minds help us figure out how to save lives. Our strength helps us carry those who cannot walk." Counselor Drax, who looked like a walking crystal with arms and legs made of smaller crystals, moved forward. Light bounced off his shiny body as he spoke. "We have studied your history," Drax said, his voice sounding like glass bells. "Humans have fought many wars. You have killed each other for land, for resources, for beliefs. How can you claim to be helpers when you have such violence in your past?" Linda Howard nodded slowly. Her eyes showed sadness as she answered. "You're right. We have done terrible things to each other. We don't deny our mistakes or our dark times." She walked to Sam's side and touched another control. The screen now showed new images: humans building homes for poor families, doctors giving free care in poor countries, people sharing food with strangers, and rescue workers saving animals from floods. "But this is also who we are," Linda said. "When disasters happen, humans run toward danger, not away from it. We risk our lives for people we've never met. Sometimes we even die trying to save others." The council chamber grew very quiet. Many aliens looked at each other in confusion. This was not how predators were supposed to act. "These humans are running into a burning building," said Counselor Vreen, his blue jelly-like body rippling with surprise. "The building could fall on them. Why would they take such a risk?" Because someone needs help, Sam said simply. For humans, that's reason enough. Alan Peters, another human with light brown skin and short curly hair, stepped forward to join his friends. He wore the same blue uniform but had red stripes on his sleeves that showed he worked in science. On Earth, we have a saying, Alan said. With great power comes great responsibility. As children, we learn that the strong must protect the weak. It's part of every story we tell our young ones. He pointed to the screen, which now showed humans caring for injured animals, bandaging a bird's wing, healing a dog's paw, feeding baby animals whose mothers had died. Look at these animals, Alan continued. They can't pay us back. They don't have money or valuable things to give us. Many of them would run from us if they could. But we help them anyway. This makes no sense for a predator species, protested Ambassador Kazutik, clicking his front legs together. Predators take, they don't give. Maybe that's what makes humans different, said Counselor Zumara, who had been watching closely. Their planet has very high oxygen levels. This gave their brains a lot of energy to grow and develop. Perhaps they evolved not just to hunt, but to think about hunting, and then to choose not to hunt when they don't need to. Patricia Johnson, a human doctor with dark skin and silver hair pulled back in a tight bun, stepped forward. She wore a white coat with a red cross on the pocket. There's an old idea on Earth called noblesse oblige, she explained. It means that those with power have a duty to use it wisely and kindly. As we grew more powerful on our planet, we also grew more aware of the damage we could do. So we created rules and laws to control our power. The council chamber filled with the sounds of aliens talking to each other. Some sounded excited, others worried, and a few seemed angry. They had never seen a species like humans before, predators who chose not to use their hunting skills to kill but to save. Head Counselor Zoll raised all four of his arms for quiet. When the chamber was silent again, he spoke directly to the humans. Your words are interesting, but they are just words, he said. How can we know that your kind actions are not just a trick? Perhaps you want us to trust you so you can hunt us later. Linda stepped forward, her face serious. We thought you might feel that way. That's why we've prepared a real test for you to see. What kind of test? Asked Counselor Thrix, his feathers fluffing up with worry. Your exploration ships found a mining accident 3 days ago, Sam explained. On a moon of Proxima Centauri, 27 miners are trapped under rocks after a cave-in. The air there is poisonous to most beings and the temperature is very high. The council members looked at each other in surprise. They had just learned about this accident this morning. We've prepared a rescue team, Linda continued. 8 humans with special equipment designed to work in the harsh conditions of that moon. We're ready to try to save those miners. But why? Asked Counselor Vreen. Those miners are not humans. They're from the Petrova system. You've never even met their kind before. They need help, Sam said simply. That's all we need to know. We offer to let you watch the whole rescue, Linda added. You can see exactly what we do. Then you can decide if humans are dangerous to the galaxy, or if we might be helpful. The council chamber filled with excited talking again. Some representatives stood up from their seats. Others called out questions. A few looked suspicious, as if they thought this was some kind of trick. Head Counselor Zoll finally raised his arms again for quiet. This is a very unusual request, he said. No species has ever asked to prove themselves this way. We understand your fear of us, Sam said. We're asking for a chance to show you who we really are, not just with words, but with actions. Zoll looked at the other council leaders. One by one, they nodded their heads or made their species sign for agreement. Very well, Zoll said at last. We will allow this demonstration. A group of council observers will watch everything you do. If you truly save those miners with no benefit to yourselves, we will reconsider our view of humans. As the human delegates left the chamber to prepare for the rescue mission, Counselor Vreen moved close to Zoll. Do you think we've been wrong about them? Vreen asked softly. I don't know, Zoll replied. Either these humans are the most unusual predators in the galaxy, or they're the most clever hunters we've ever seen. The doors closed behind the humans. Soon the council would have their answer one way or another. The moon of Proxima Centauri looked angry. Its surface was red and black with cracks that glowed orange. Dark smoke poured from holes in the ground. The mining facility sat on a flat area between two large mountains, its metal buildings looking small against the harsh landscape. On the council observation ship high above, aliens from 12 different worlds watched their screens with great interest. They could see the human rescue ship landing near the damaged mine entrance. "The conditions down there are terrible," said Councillor Petrox, a being made of living rock whose people owned the mine. His voice sounded like grinding stones. "The temperature is over 300 degrees. The air is full of poison gas, and the radiation levels are rising as the planet's core reacts to the collapse." Chief Engineer Gary Wilson of the Human Rescue Team studied a 3D map of the mine on his tablet. He was a tall man with broad shoulders and skin tanned from years of outdoor work. Deep lines around his eyes showed both his age and his habit of squinting in bright sunlight. "We've dealt with worse," Gary said, adjusting the straps on his heat-resistant suit. "These suits can handle the heat and radiation for about 40 minutes. 40 minutes? Councillor Vreen's blue jelly-like body shook with surprise. "But just going down to where the miners are trapped takes 35 minutes. Then we'll have 5 minutes to work," replied Nicole Davis with a small smile. She was the team's doctor, a woman with short blonde hair and steady hands that never seemed to shake, even in emergencies. "We've brought special equipment to help the miners until we can get them out." The council members watched on their screens as 8 humans entered the mine elevator. Each human wore a thick silver suit with a clear helmet. They carried heavy packs on their backs and strange tools in their hands. Small lights on their helmets cut through the darkness as they began their descent into the planet. "Look at their vital signs," said Councillor Thrix, pointing a feathered arm at another screen. This one showed heart rates, brain activity, and other body measurements from each human. Their hearts are beating faster. Their bodies are making more adrenaline, but their brain patterns are calm and focused. "They are actually enjoying this danger," whispered another council member with horror in their voice. "Not enjoying," corrected Dr. Meera Patel, a human scientist who had stayed behind with the council. She had dark hair with streaks of gray and wore glasses with red frames. "They feel purpose. Humans often work best when the stakes are highest. That's when we focus completely on what needs to be done." The screens showed the rescue team reaching the bottom of the mine shaft. The place looked like a war zone. Huge rocks had fallen from the ceiling. Support beams were bent and broken. Sparks flew from damaged equipment, and the air shimmered with heat that even the cameras could detect. "Team moving forward," reported Kevin Murphy, the team leader. He was older than the others, with gray hair and a face that showed years of hard work and difficult decisions. "Scanner shows life signs ahead, behind the main collapse." The council observers watched as the humans worked their way through the dangerous tunnel. They climbed over fallen rocks, squeezed through narrow gaps, and helped each other across areas where the floor had cracked open. "They move like they were born for this environment," said Councillor Zumara with surprise. "Yet their world is nothing like this place." "Humans adapt quickly," explained Dr. Patel. "It's one of our greatest strengths." The rescue team reached a wall of fallen rock that blocked the tunnel completely. Their helmet lights showed no way around it. "This is the main collapse," Kevin reported. His voice sounded calm despite the danger. "Life support shows 7 minutes remaining. Beginning cutting procedure." 4 team members pulled out strange tools that glowed blue at the tip. They began cutting through the rock wall with beams of intense energy. The rock melted away slowly, revealing a small opening. 4 minutes of life support left, reported Nicole Davis, checking a device on her wrist. Her voice remained steady, but sweat ran down her face inside her helmet. "They won't make it," stated Councillor Petrox flatly. "And even if they reach the miners, they'll never get back to the surface in time." "Come on, team. We can do this," Kevin encouraged as they kept cutting. The opening grew larger with each passing second. 3 minutes remaining," called out Nicole. Just then, Kevin's voice came through the speakers with excitement. "We're through. I can see them. 25 survivors confirmed. Beginning rescue operation." The cameras showed an amazing sight. Beyond the opening the humans had made, a group of stone-like aliens huddled together in a small chamber. They looked like Counselor Petrox, but smaller, and with cracks in their rocky skin from the heat and radiation. 2 minutes of life support remaining, Nicole reported. Her voice was still calm, but her eyes showed concern. What happened next shocked the watching council members. The humans pulled a strange silver device from one of their packs. They set it up in the center of the room and activated it. A soft blue glow spread out from the device, surrounding the trapped miners. "Stasis. Field generator activated," reported Gary Wilson. "It will protect the miners during rapid transport to the surface." "But what about you?" asked one of the miners, his voice rough and gravelly. "There's no room for all of you in the field." Kevin Murphy smiled inside his helmet. "We know. We're sending you up first. The transporter can only handle one group at a time. But that means—" The miner couldn't finish his sentence. 1 minute of life support remaining, Nicole reported. "Rerouting all remaining power to the stasis transporter," Gary said, working quickly on the device's controls. Up on the observation ship, the council members watched in stunned silence as they realized what was happening. "They're sacrificing themselves," whispered Counselor Zumara, "for beings they've never met before." Dr. Patel nodded, her face showing both pride and sadness. That's humanity at its best. On the screens, they could see Nicole Davis's hand hover over the activation button. "Transporter ready. Life support critical. It's been an honor serving with all of you." She pressed the button. The miners disappeared in a flash of blue light. At the same moment, the life sign monitors for all 8 humans went flat. In the medical bay of the observation ship, the miners appeared safely, surrounded by the blue glow of the stasis field. They were alive, and mostly unharmed. The council chamber was completely silent. No one spoke as they stared at the flat-lined monitors showing no signs of life from the human team. Until suddenly, one of the lines jumped. A heartbeat appeared, weak but present. Then another line jumped. And another. "Impossible," breathed Counselor Petrox. "No," corrected Dr. Patel with a smile as tears filled her eyes. "Human." 3 days later, the human rescue team stood in the center of the Galactic Council chamber. All 8 humans were alive, though they didn't look well. Their skin showed red patches from burns, white bandages wrapped around their arms and heads. Some leaned on crutches or on each other for support, but they all stood straight and proud as 500 alien representatives stared at them in amazement. "How did you survive?" demanded Counselor Vreen, his blue jelly-like body rippling with confusion. "All your life signs stopped. You should be dead." Kevin Murphy, the team leader, managed a small smile despite the pain it clearly caused him. His voice was rough and scratchy from breathing the toxic gas. "We always have a backup plan," he said simply. "That's not a real answer," insisted Ambassador Kazutik, clicking his spider-like legs with frustration. Dr. Meera Patel stepped forward to explain. She pointed to the silver suits the team had worn, now displayed on stands at the edge of the chamber. "The rescue suits were designed with a final safety measure," she said. "When life support reaches critical levels, they automatically put the wearer into a special sleep state, like hibernation. Then they use the last bit of power to create a tiny stasis field around the person's heart and brain. But the heat and radiation down there were too strong for any technology to work properly," argued Counselor Petrox, his rocky face showing deep lines of confusion. "It was a gamble," admitted Gary Wilson, the chief engineer. His normally strong voice was now weak and he needed a crutch to stand. "The pods were never tested in such extreme conditions. We knew they might fail." "You risked everything," stated Head Counselor Zoll, his 4 eyes fixed on the humans. "For beings you had no connection to, no reason to help." Nicole Davis stepped forward. The medical specialist still had burn marks across her face, but her eyes were clear and determined. "That's where you're wrong," she said. Being predators gave us exactly what we needed to save those miners. Our instincts to chase prey across long distances became instincts to chase solutions to hard problems. Sam Reeves approached the center, display and touch to control. The large screen lit up with images from human history. The pictures showed humans helping each other through wars, disasters, sickness, and hard times. When you only see our sharp teeth and strong muscles, you miss the most important part, Sam explained. A good predator must understand its prey completely. That deep understanding led us to something new, caring about others. Many species feel care for others, objected Counselor Thrix, his feathers ruffling slightly. That's not special to humans. True, agreed Linda Howard. She still moved carefully from her injuries, but combining that care with a predator's determination to never give up, that might be what makes humans different. When we decide to protect something, we bring all our hunting focus to that goal. The council chamber filled with the sounds of aliens talking to each other. Some spoke in excited whispers. Others made clicking or humming noises that showed they were thinking deeply. The mood had changed from fear to something new, interest, respect, and maybe even hope. Head Counselor. Zol raised all four of his arms for quiet. When the room was silent again, he spoke in his deep, powerful voice. "We have discussed this matter thoroughly," he announced, "and we have reached a decision that will be recorded in the history of the galaxy." He paused, looking directly at the injured humans standing before him. "Earth's evolution as a planet of predators has created something we never expected. Instead of a danger to peace, you may be its greatest defenders." The chamber erupted with noise. Some aliens cheered by making high whistling sounds. Others banged appendages against their seats. A few remained silent, still unsure. Zol raised his arms again for quiet. "Humanity is hereby given full council membership. You will have a special title, Protected Protectors. Your home planet will stay independent. You may keep your military forces under one condition. You must use your protective instincts to help all council species." Gary Wilson looked confused. "Protected Protectors? What does that mean?" "It means," explained Zol, "that you will protect us and we will protect you from the heavy weight such responsibility brings. No one species should have to be the guardian of the whole galaxy alone." 1 month later, a new organization was born, the Galactic Council Defense Force. It had leaders from many species working together, with a human commander at its head. Their first mission was already underway, saving a colony threatened by a dying star. Chief Commander Ryan Foster stood on the bridge of the rescue ship. He was a tall man with dark skin and short black hair who had spent his life in Earth Space Forces. Now he looked out at his crew, humans working side by side with beings from 10 other worlds. Some had tentacles instead of arms. Some breathed different gases. Some saw with sound instead of light. But they were all working together with a shared purpose. A message appeared on Ryan's screen. It was from Counselor Vreen, who had become a surprising friend to humans in recent weeks. "We feared you because you were predators. Now we trust you for the same reason." Ryan smiled as he watched his diverse crew prepare for their rescue mission. He thought about the long, strange path that had brought humans to this moment. How the same hands that once threw spears to kill animals now worked to save lives across the stars. How the same legs that once chased prey over the plains of Earth now ran toward danger to help others. How the same clever minds that once outsmarted prey now solved problems to protect the weak. He typed a reply to Vreen's message. "The greatest strength of a predator isn't its claws or teeth. It's knowing when not to use them." The rescue fleet jumped to lightspeed, carrying the most dangerous species in the galaxy toward those who needed them most, not as hunters, but as helpers. The apex predators had finally found their true purpose, among the stars. Not to hunt, not to kill, but to protect. As the ships raced through the darkness between stars, a new idea spread across the galaxy. Perhaps the most unexpected truth in all of creation was this: the most fearsome hunters had the kindest hearts, And perhaps that made perfect sense after all.